I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. Today, we are going to start off our reviewing set this evening with Death Grips, The Money Store. Tom, what do you know about The Money Store?
Well, it's the second album from Death Grips. Well, some are calling it first debut album. It depends on if you consider Ex-Military, their previous release, to be a mixtape or an album. You know, I don't know. It's a collection of songs, and, you know, they sound similar enough in style. It's just more about the way they released it that's really different. But, you know, for us, the consumers who just want to enjoy the music, I would call this their second effort.
Right.
And I mean, I think that to call it anything else would really be to undervalue the strength of Ex-Military, which we actually didn't review. I know it got a lot of buzz last year, deservingly so, and I've listened to it a few times since The Money Store came out to kind of go back and examine the differences. Because both of these albums, while both being in the vein of that experimental, very bombastic, explosive hip-hop sound, they definitely accomplish different things. And here's the analogy I'd like to use to describe the difference between these two albums, because we've actually had a lot of people asking us for our thoughts on Ex-Military since The Money Store has come out. And I definitely like it. I'd say I like The Money Store even better than Ex-Military, and here's why. The difference to me is like the X-Men. If you're an X-Men fan, here's what I compare it to. When you look at the backstories of all the X-Men, whether they're good or bad, whether it's like Wolverine or like Magneto, they have this dark history, and when they first discover their powers, they can't control it. They don't know what to do with it, and it ends up kind of taking over their lives, and then comes Professor X, and he helps them hone their powers and turn it into something good and something focused. And that's exactly how I feel about these two albums. Ex-Military is so explosive, and it's got so much anger and so much energy packed into it, but I feel like they were almost ahead of themselves with their ambition. They didn't even know what to do with it. And then The Money Store comes along, and it channels that energy perfectly, and it puts it into these nice, succinct, but still impactful songs that come into a full album concept really well.
Right. And it's 13 tracks long.
Yeah.
But it's not a long album. These tracks are short, and it's meant to be that way. The comparison I was telling Tom before we turned the camera on was I would compare this to like Mos Def mixed with sleigh bells. You know, that bombastic, just really, really loud sound, you know, just over-compressed beats, very metallic and computerized
grating
beats. Right. And it just is just everything about this album is loud and in your face, and that energy is addictive, but specifically the vocalist. You know, when he's rapping, he's more like screaming and yelling, but in a way that's just to get his vocals over all of the noise that's going on in the sound. And really that's what gives the album such a good authentic intensity, because it feels more like, you know, a rally. He sells what the Death Grip sound is, and really that's what makes this album so addictive for me and what keeps me coming back to it.
And he's such a strong presence. Even when he's like not rapping, even if there's a break, you like feel him there. And sometimes, you know, they'll cut out little bits of the vocals and they'll work into the beat, little sampling methods and stuff like that. And so because of that, that helps it flow between the sections where he's rapping and where he's not. You know, maybe if he's doing some kind of quick start and stop thing, which he does a lot, really helps mix it up. It makes the flow of the album work and the pacing just that much sharper. So it all just comes together to make a really solid album listen. And what I love about this, that I will always love about albums, I'm going to say, whenever we review Graham Coxon, I'm going to say the same thing. I love it when albums can come along and be abrasive and be anything but poppy, but still get stuck in your head, still have hooks, still have melodies that stick with you. Because that's really what I want when I listen to music, is I want to listen to something that when I'm done, it stays with me. It makes an impact on me, whether I get it at first or not, which honestly this one, I didn't. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, whoa, but it left its mark on me, and I came back for more and started to understand it better.
Which is curious, because a couple of our fans even pointed out that this is an album that they weren't quite sure that we would get right away. And to tell you the truth, neither were we, because you know, we were hesitant with Sleigh Bells at first, and I think over time we grew to like it more.
Yeah, but abrasive sound.
You know, what Tom and I really love about music is when music can define itself and be memorable without being cliche. And usually that involves a good use of dynamics. And Death Grips does a great job of managing their dynamics in track to track and throughout the album on The Money Store. And you know, the other thing about this album is that every single track on this album is strong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough to pick track picks for this one.
Specifically, like the first 5 songs, I think, are just mind-blowing. And then the closing track, I think, is just incredible.
It's like the favorite track for both of us. When you end an album that strong, it's great.
So just that overall balance and that high level of quality and the musicianship and the delivery of the vocals, I mean, all of this comes together and just to make just one kick-ass album. But on top of all this is something so original that hasn't been done before. And here it is in 2012. This is one of those albums that 10 years from now we're going to look back on and go, oh yeah, 2012, that was the year that Death Grips album came out that changed everything. So just on that alone, we have to highly recommend this to you guys to go out and check this out. This is a must-listen album. You need to be, checking this out, telling us what you think. I'm sitting at an 88 right now.
I'm meeting you there, 88.
So this is damn good, folks. Go check it out and let us know what you think at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Also, you guys are our fans. We love you. You guys are what make VIMTV what we are today, and that's because you communicate with us on our favorite social networks, Twitter and Facebook. So please, if you haven't already, go out and follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, because that's where we talk with you. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
I see footage, I see footage, I stay naughty, I see footage, I stay footage, I stay naughty, I stay